Now, we all want to share the glory, right? We all want to share the ups. But one thing that you will notice if you start an entrepreneurial journey is that you also have a lot of downs. And sometimes you have the downs when everything is going the absolute best, which is weird. I am having one of those days today. I've been having one of those periods now for, I want to say, a week. And I touched upon this in my previous video a little bit as well. And I thought today that, hey, I'm just going to do a video about this just like 10 minutes ago. But then you always like, you're hesitant to share the downs as well, right? Because like there's something that kind of hinders us from sharing the downs in a way, right? You don't want to show yourself weak. But this is something that everybody's going through, especially in entrepreneurs. It's a fucking roller coaster. It's up and it's down, and the weirdest thing is that it's sometimes it's down when everything should be going up. Like everything is going great in my business right now, but I still have that void in a way, which is weird. And I touched upon this in my previous video, right, where I talked about the glass ceiling, that it's all really just in your head, that your perceived like your self-image and your character is really what determines, and your goals as well, it really what determines how you feel, right, in a way. And I think I had such a high when I was chasing the school games, right? Last month the school games was in the February contest. I worked my ass off. I've never worked that hard ever, or I've worked that, I want to say actually I'm probably worked the hardest in my life for that school contest. And I went all in, absolutely all in. And I had this goal of making it in the top 10 of the school games. And then I did, right? I added over 40K new monthly recurring revenue. That final day, we had close to $15,000. And then I had that anticlimax where I'm like, I actually did it. And now I'm in that weird spot where, like, now what, in a way? I'm kind of. Like, I'm still pushing it. I still want to grow the business further and be on the roll and grow it and take that to that next point, right? And I had a talk with somebody in our community, like, yesterday. We sat to talk about this, and he asked me, like, why do you even want to grow your business? Like, what's the end game? Are you going to take it to 500K per month? And what happens when you get there? When you get it to $1 million per month, like, when's enough in a way, right? But I think that when people who like to challenge ourselves, and I don't think it matters if you're an entrepreneur or if you're an athlete or, I don't know, like if you're an artist or whatever it is, if you're somebody who really, really loves pushing yourself, your identity really gets built around that. You love the challenge, you love the pressure. And when you're chasing something, right, when you have that goal, and that's really when you're alive in a way, right? That is really when you love it. And when you're on that high of chasing something, and then it kind of disappears because either you achieve it or you don't achieve it. It does matter, right? But at the end of the day, it's really just a chase that you're after. So when everything starts to chill down, you can get that feeling of emptiness, which sucks. And there's a saying as well, right, that an idle mind is the devil's workshop. And this is something that I've learned myself to be aware of, especially in my entrepreneurial endeavors, that whenever you're not chasing something, whenever you get bored is not the right word, but whenever you're not on a mission to do something, you can get an idle mind. And when you have an idle mind, that's when it's very, very easy to make bad choices and make big mistakes. So as I talked about in my previous video about mindset and building a character and kind of reprogramming yourself to kind of to fix your subconscious so that your entire being gets in line with this goal, right? I guess I'm in a place right now where I'm currently to like reprogram myself for this new thing. And also what has been a complete torture for me for the past week has been that my my bank account got hacked and like 12K got stolen from me, which I don't really care about, honestly. The money got disappeared, but I got the money back. It's all good now. But the worst thing about all of this was that I had to freeze my cards, all my credit cards and all of that, right? And when I didn't have that credit card, I couldn't really do anything. Like, we're planning this new campaign right now. We're building out the new funnel, and everything had to like shut down until this credit card started working again. And now when I'm speaking about it, I think that is why I've been in this, I like to call it the entrepreneurial hell. And I don't know if other people, if you guys can relate to this, but I absolutely, when I'm not doing anything, and entrepreneurship and building my business, that is like my life in a way. That is the only thing that I do. I have my dog, I have my girlfriend, and then I work. That's like literally it. I have my parents pretty close by. I don't have too many friends. Like, I lost a lot of my friends, but I just, when I went all into entrepreneurship, like, and as you grow older as well, you don't really, I don't know. The friends that I have are kind of online, and the people that I have connections with and such, right? But I don't really have friends that I meet up with. And I don't even know where I was going with this, but yeah, like, my identity is my job, essentially. That is what I do. So when that stops, I just feel like shit. And it actually helps a lot by reflecting into a camera like this. And it is very, very interesting. And that is why I did that video yesterday as well for you guys, that it's so dangerous as an entrepreneur to build yourself up and destroy yourself. If I wasn't aware of why this is happening to me right now, or like why I'm feeling the way that I do, I could very, very likely start doing very self-destroying myself. Like, taking a dumb decision, starting something stupid, right? And in the beginning of my journey, I would have maybe like started an entirely new business, because I don't know, even though this business is going great now, it's making a great amount of money, it's growing every single day, I'm still feeling like shit. It's weird, right? Because I'm not actively working towards a goal anymore, right? Because when I had that goal of making the school games, that was it. That was the thing. I was like, that was my entire living. That was my being, of just making it. And then when I made it, I was like, now what? What's the next thing now? Just make more money? Like, just growing this thing? Sure. But that's when like my identity didn't fit in with that, because my pure goal was to make it. And then when I made it, I had this anticlimax. So now what I have to do is that I need to get this new goal, and I need to build that into my identity, that what is it that I'm chasing after now, right? So that I can go on the mission again. So that was part of it as well, as mentioned. But also then, when everything stops, when everything just turns off in a way, that you can't do anything, that you can't work, that's when you get into this trap, this entrepreneurial hell, where you just start to do stupid shit. You can like, and Alex Ramosi talks about this as well, right? He talks about, and I'm kind of paraphrasing, but he says that instead of doing new stuff all the time, just do what has been working in the past and do more of that, right? Which is also a very important lesson to keep in mind. That especially when you get to this entrepreneurial hell and you're like, you have an idle mind, you don't really know what to do, and you feel like shit because you're not on a mission anymore, or whatever it is, right? Then it's so easy to set this new goal, right? to fire yourself up to work towards this new thing. You're like, fuck, I feel like shit right now. I don't know why. I need to do something. Let's just grow this thing. And then you take a dumb decision, because an idle mind is a devil's workshop, so you just take a dumb decision to work on something completely different. Even though this, what you're doing right now is working very, very well, you make a decision to do something completely new, something completely different. Maybe not a different business model, but maybe you've been, I don't know, as a bad example, you've been cold calling. It's been working really, really well, and that has been growing your business. But then you panic in this entrepreneurial hell, so you make a decision that I'm just going to start to do cold email instead, or whatever it is, right? So then you try something new, and then you get fired up. You have like a shiny object syndrome, not when it comes to different business models, but to different things that you can do within your business. And then you get fired up again, and then you're going to solve this thing. And then that turns out to actually be not as good, meaning like doing cold email might be shit compared to cold calling, but it felt like a good thing to do because now you were on a mission again. And then 3, 4, 5, 6 months down the line, your business starts declining quite a bit. And then when you look back, you're like, I should have just continued with what was working, right? So that was Alex Hormozi means when it says that instead of just trying to do new stuff all the time, just identify what has been working in the past and just do more of that. And if you're tired of it, you can always hire somebody else to do it for you, right? And on that note, Alex Hormozi has another thing. He has said a lot of great stuff, but another thing that has really helped me a lot as well, I guess you can call it, or something that I've been thinking about quite a bit, is that whenever you feel sad, so you can either feel like sad, right? Like hopeless, or you can feel overwhelmed and anxious, right? Those are two very strong feelings, especially in entrepreneurship. And the way Alex breaks it down, it's genius, right? So if you feel sad or if you feel hopeless, that's normally a sign of that you have no idea what to do. You have literally no idea what to do next. So because of that, you just feel like hopeless. Like, I want to go from here to there. I want to quit my day job and make money online, but I have literally no idea how to do it. I have literally I have no idea. So I feel sad and hopeless because I have no idea how to cross the bridge, right? And so if you know that is why you feel sad and hopeless, if you know that is because you have no idea what to do, the way you solve that is obviously then by seeking help, right? You can watch YouTube videos, or you can join a course, or you can hire a mentor, or you can join a coaching program, whatever it is. That's how you solve it. Because now you're like, I want to go from here to here. I have no idea how to get there. That's why I feel sad or hopeless. So the way that I solve that is by getting help from somebody else who knows how to get there, right? So that's that. The next feeling is that you feel overwhelmed, or their anxiety essentially, right? Like, you're just like stressed. And that's normally a sign of you have too many options and you don't know what to do first. You're like, I want to go from here to here, but I'm feeling anxious and stressed out and overwhelmed because I have so many things to do and I have no idea what to do now, essentially. I have too many options. And the way that you solve that is by just sitting down and writing out a priority list, right? You're just like, okay, first I need to do this, then this, then this, and then this, right? So you take all of the chaos and break it down into like a priority list. Because now you know that, okay, all of this chaos going on, I feel anxious, I feel stressed, I feel overwhelmed. When you get that to-do list in place or that priority list in place, then you will most likely feel like you have control over the situation and you will feel better, right? So yeah, and in this video, I didn't really have an agenda for it. I was sitting here, I'm planning out this new campaign that we're doing, and I'm like, just feel like shit. And now I'm actually feeling a lot better when I talk about it, a lot better. Because it's interesting when you break it down why you feel certain things, especially on the entrepreneurial journey. And it's a thing on the internet as well, right? That we only want to share the ups. We only want to share the wins and the glories, right? Because we want to inspire other people. And if you're selling something or promoting something on the internet, you obviously want to inspire people that, hey, this thing that I'm doing is working very well, right? But at the same time, every single person who is on this journey feels more often like shit than you actually feel good. Like, the entrepreneurial journey is so interesting. And I don't know why I enjoy it, really, to be honest. Because most days are just hard work, constantly being stressed, which I've I've come to a weird place where when I'm not feeling a little bit stressed all the time, I'm just checking that it's still recording, and it is. If I'm feeling too relaxed, I start to get anxious, like really anxious. Like, that's probably why I felt anxious today, because I'm sitting here, my credit card is locked. I have a new one, so I can start it again. I couldn't start our campaigns. I couldn't do blah blah blah. My goal, I didn't have a clear defined goal anymore of what I wanted to do, and I was just not doing anything, and I started to like feel very very anxious about it. But it's the same, if I go on a trip, like if I travel someplace warm and I'm gonna relax for 2 weeks, it's not working, right? So, but anyways, back to the point. The entrepreneurial journey is very interesting because I think you enter into it because you want to create a better life, right? Which you do, right? You get more freedom and you decide what you want to do. But the days are filled with pain in a way. And I laugh when I say it because it is mostly pain. It is mostly stress. And over time, you learn to love it. You learn to love that thing. And then once in a while, you have the wins, right? You win the school games, or you blah, 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 whatever it is, right? You achieve that goal of making X amount of thousands of dollars per month or whatever it is. But that win or that dopamine hit that you get is such short, like it's for just a glimpse of a moment, and you just feel that thing. So that is the thing that you're chasing. But then when you get it, that's when, if you don't know what's happening to you, that's when you get into the entrepreneurial hell. That's when you're like, oh, now I don't know what to do. So now you feel like shit instead, like shit for real. Like the positive stress when you're chasing the goal, that is really what you get addicted to. That is really what you get addicted to as an entrepreneur. Like pushing yourself, challenging yourself, being on the run after this thing that you think is going to be this amazing, glorified holy land. And then when you get there, you're just like, oh, now what? Now I'm bored. What should I do next? And if you have no idea what to do next, that's really when you get into the entrepreneurial hell. So you're chasing paradise. But if you're not careful, all you find is hell. It's kind of weird, but it's so true. And you feel like the absolute best when you're chasing after the paradise, when you're chasing after this thing that you somehow make yourself believe is going to change everything and make it better for you. I don't know. But that is what you learn to love. Waking up hungry, stressed, or like that little thing that just makes you want to late nights, right? Constantly scratching your head, constantly searching for new answers, right? Yeah. So, yeah, it's interesting. And it's also interesting that it helps to comment like this and just talk about it, because I think a lot of you guys watching this will relate to it. And I think that's very important, right? That it's okay that most of us feel like shit when we do this thing. But you can laugh through it, man. That is what's so beautiful about life as well, right? That you do hard things and that you do things that challenge you. Because that's something I learned over time as well, is that you choose your pain, right? There's no escaping pain. There's no escaping pain. But you can, the good thing or the very beautiful thing about pain is that you can choose your pain, right? Let me give you an example, right? Either you choose the pain of going to the gym, right? it's hard, right? You go to the gym, you have to be consistent, you have to go in there, you have to do your workout, you have to carry the weights, do the reps, do all of these things, which in the beginning sucks. If you haven't worked out in your life, going into the gym is no fun. It aches, you get sweaty. You know, if you're not used to that, you're just gonna feel like, why am I even doing this? But over time, you start to get a little bit stronger, right? You start to conquer some goals. You start to get better. And then you start to actually enjoy that pain. You start to enjoy that pain because you've chosen that pain and there's a reward in that pain, right? So you like that pain, but it's still pain. The pain never goes away, right? But you learn to like that pain, right? And when you get, if you choose that pain of going to the gym, you will get rewarded with health, strength, and everything else, all of like mental, better mental stability. You will clear your mind. You will be all of the benefits that come with it, right? So you chose that pain, you got that benefit, or you don't choose that pain. You ignore that pain. You sit at home and you eat chips and watch Netflix all day long, right? Which feels good right now, right? But then before you know it, you get pain later. You get sick, you get fat, you get tired, you have no motivation, you don't do anything with your life. Because all of us are sitting on a bunch of potential, right? But I also think that a lot of us are wasting it because we want to be comfortable, right? Or we're scared of what other people think of us or whatever that might be, right? So we never do anything. But the thing is that you can never escape the pain. You can never escape the pain. Because if you try to escape it today, the pain is coming tomorrow. And that is going to be a much worse pain than the pain that you can choose, right? So I think that is a very powerful lesson as well, to just like choose your pain. Choose your pain and learn to like that pain. And that's what's so beautiful with the gym and with entrepreneurship as well, because you can't fool the weight, right? If you're trying to squat X amount of kilos, right? You will know how much you can squat. You will know how strong you are. And if you start to slack off, if you come back in 2 months and you've never squatted and you try to squat the same weights, you will most likely not be able to squat that. And there's no fooling it, right? You can't like fool the weight. And it's the same thing with entrepreneurship, right? You can't just ignore it or slack off or don't answer your customers or stop the marketing or stop making your product better or your service better. You can't stop that, because the second you stop it is the second you start to die, right? Which is kind of weird. But that's the way it is. So, yeah, that's it. That is really it. So, to summarize this video, right, you have the entrepreneurial hell, and yeah, that's my thoughts for today.